Everyone, welcome back to Beekeeping with Natalie, or welcome to if you are new. Third time's a charm. We got this. At this point, if I screw up in this video, we're keeping it. I don't even care because we're running out of daylight and I need to get it together. But anyways, today's video is going to be something that we've actually never done before, so I'm looking forward to it. Maybe that's why I've screwed up so much because I've never done this and we're filming it. But my last 3 videos ended up being on winter preparation and preparing for winter without realizing that's what it was. So it was kind of like a little 3-part series. I don't know if I'll add to it or not, but the first video was on apame boxes and how those are really good for overwintering and can help the bees get through winter when it's still a little cold outside, or if it gets really chilly, then they tend to overwinter really well in apame boxes. And then the second one was on double screen boards, which I recommend those quite a bit, and I talked on that. And then this one is on Reflectix. So this is just another small piece of insulation that you can add to some of your hives for a lot cheaper than buying a whole new box and lid and everything. These don't like to stay, so they're probably gonna fall over the place, but whatever. Anyways, now I know Ian, he does these. Now his weather is crazy cold, and we don't get nearly that cold, but Ian's done it. I think Cayman has done a couple videos on it. I'm not sure. I did look up one of Cayman's videos, and he kind of talked about cutting them. That was like 4 years ago, I think it was. But anyways, so basically how these work is you just cut them, and then they fit on your box. So if you're doing like an 8-frame box, you'll have to measure it, because I'm not sure what those would be. But we pretty much measured it beforehand, and then cut them all to the right size, and it's just gonna go underneath this lid on top of those frames, almost as if it's like an inner cover. Now you can do these on pretty much any kinds of lids that you have. Most of our lids are gonna be bucket feeding ones. So the reason that it can be, maybe it's just one extra step, but when you're cutting these, and if you do bucket lids and you still want to, maybe it's a little bit earlier in the year and you're still feeding, or you plan to feed for the next couple of weeks, but you don't want to have to pull these off or wait, what you can do with a bucket lid here is pretty much just put a V in the middle, and then when you go to feed, all you have to do is tuck this in and then lay it down and then put your lid on, and then there's just plenty of room right there where your bucket can still feed through, but they're still getting that insulation around the edge here, and there's just a small circle. So that makes it easier. That way you don't have to go through and cut a perfect circle and just make a V right like that. And then when you're not using a bucket, just put it back and it works just as good. I believe that's the way Ian does it, but we aren't actually doing this on all of them. We only did it on this one here because we don't plan to feed really that much more. And if we do, it might be just frame feeders, or maybe some open feeding if it gets warm enough, whatever it is. But I think we're pretty much done with that. Now, I did cut these, so they're all a little different, or a little special, but that's okay. I think they pretty much will fit for the most part. But anyway, we've been wanting to try this for quite a while now and just haven't got around to doing it. And this was one of those years where we've just been wanting to double, and we always want our bees to get through winter. And this might be one step that just kind of helps them get through winter a little bit more. But basically, it's just going to help them keep that heat in there. I know, again, I don't know a whole lot. People are always talking about condensation and all of that. I don't know a whole lot on it, but I have heard that this can help it not go on the top of that lid there, and it goes on the side walls, something like that. But I'm not really sure. So we'll just kind of see what ends up happening with these. But yeah, like I said, we bought these from Menards. They were actually on sale whenever that was, like a week ago when we bought these or something. And it's the right size, but then it's like that whole strip. So it fits the sides perfectly right here, but you just have to cut the, this is one of the reasons that the first video didn't work out, because I don't know width and all that. I don't know. I was going to say grammar, that's not even right. I'm homeschooled, so I don't know anything. But anyways, yeah, so we just had to go through and cut these. It was really easy. We just used a blade for that anyway. And I think that's kind of all I had to mention about that. I don't know, there was a list of stuff I was going to talk about. But one of the things that we screwed up today is it's later in the day, and last minute, but I realized it's gonna rain all day tomorrow, which means we won't be able to film for the next couple of days. So I was like, let's just go do it real quick. Well, the sun's going down, the bees are getting pissy, it's cold, I'm pissed, and we forgot a smoker. So lucky us, we brought the Apisalis, but the only thing about that is it's not charged, which is so weird to say that your smoker isn't charged. But anyway, it's dead. And we tried to charge it on the way here, but I don't think it charged all the way, and it's just not working. So we're playing with fire today, but what's new? So I did one just now, and it was a little sketch, but I think it's gonna be fine. As long as I go slow and don't pop things, they're usually okay. So we're just gonna go slow and see what happens. One of these, I feel like it might be that one, or one of those over there. They're really mean, so I'll probably be doing that one. They're not really flying today. I think a few of them at home were. They're all sticking up. They look prepared. Okay, so there's a decent amount of bees in here. It's not like packed as I would like it to be, but that's another thing about these small little insulation pieces that you can add is on these smaller hives, these singles, you can do it on doubles, and we still will, but it's just gonna really help them out because they just don't have as many bees, and that's the same thing as the double screen board. If you want to check out that video, I'll leave it over here if you want to watch that. It was actually just my last video. But it's just one more thing to keep that heat in there, to keep them nice and warm, especially when they just don't have as many bees in here. But one of the downsides to these is it is really loud, and when you're putting something like this on top of a beehive, and like later when we come to pull these off, whenever we're just gonna do a quick hive inspection or whatever it is, taking these off is really gonna piss them off just because it's so loud. And they're gonna propolize it, so it'll kind of be a little bit of a mess. It's the same thing as if you're putting like a Ziploc down and you have to pull that off later. But so it just lays on top there. You can see it's not cut perfectly, but it'll work. And then it just lays on top just like that, and then we're gonna put our lid on. Now, like I said, if you're using the V, then you would just tuck it under and then put your lid on. So I'm just gonna put this on now. Trying to go nice and slow so don't make them too mad. So then it'll kind of, the lid is heavy enough, it's not gonna fly away, but you can see it. Kind of, yeah, I think so. I don't know, I think they can kind of get in and out through there a little bit, but until they propolize it, right? And then I think after that, it's pretty much sealed. But it really didn't take long to cut. Oh, look at that. You know, we have one yard where there's goats everywhere. I hate those things. And then this one, we've got all these horses. That's pretty cool. This is why I love Outyards. Our yard is just a mess and annoying, and I hate being in there. But these Outyards are always fun to be around. So I don't know how many horses they actually have, but I think they can actually get into this spot. I'm not 100% sure on that, but people always ask about putting your hives with animals, and I know a guy down, I think he's like 2 or 3 hours from us, and he actually has one of his yards that have cows in them, and they don't do anything to them. I know like they can knock them over, but we've never had any problems with it. The goats in another yard, they did used to knock over our pro nukes, but that's the only thing that we've had issues with. So anyway, I'm gonna keep doing this. I probably forgot to mention something. Did I? I think that was pretty much it. These girls look pretty good. There's a good amount of bees in here. I'm not mad about it. But this is just kind of like the last step before winter. This one's tapping me. Just one more thing to feel a little bit better about them going into winter here. So this is that one with the V. Just gonna lay it on top here. And then put this lid on, and that's it. So it doesn't take that long, but hopefully it'll really help them out overwintering. All right, I think that's about it. So we're gonna keep doing this on these hives. I would really recommend doing this if you're in a cold area and just want to feel a little bit better about those smaller hives, especially if you have some nukes. You could cut these to the right side and put it on those, or size, put on those and these singles for sure. So I think that's all for today's video. Thanks for watching. Follow along for more bee adventures and be here next time on Beekeeping with Natalie.